Hey, this is Dr. Marisa, women's hormone expert, author, and the host of the Essentially You podcast. And today I am showcasing the 5 big benefits of the Powerhouse hormone, Oxytocin. And this has all been a part of my Powerhouse hormone series that you can catch in my short episodes that I've been doing for the last month to 2 months. Now, this particular hormone, oxytocin, is no exception to being a powerhouse. Now, this might sound silly, but when was the last time you really opened your heart space and gave someone a huge, big, intentional hug? Now, when you think of the last time you really hugged someone deeply, right, and you really created that connection, how did it make you feel? Now, if you're smiling right now, you might be releasing one of the most underrated hormones of all, the cuddle hormone known as oxytocin, and that is a very good thing. Now, it's often called the love or cuddle hormone because it's most well known for showing up to the party when we feel love, empathy, or deep connection. It's one of the main reasons you can feel so connected to a total stranger, or fall so deeply in love with your partner, or your baby, or your best friend, or cry rivers of joy when something miraculously happens, or even perk up when you eat an aphrodisiac like food, like chocolate. But what's even more interesting is that oxytocin is also known to show up when we are feeling stressed. It's like the emergency brake that pumps for us during super intense moments to keep us calm, cool, and collected, even if it doesn't always work out perfectly. That's why we often call our bestie or connect with a friend when something goes on in our life. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's one of our feminine superpowers, that connection to the people that we love most. Like in my head, all of my besties are literally coming into my mindset right now because so often when I'm in my stuff, they are the first people that I reach out to. Now, what's also interesting about oxytocin is that it was once thought that only women had it, which is simply not true. Men have it and need it too. So just in case you want to share this information, let your son know, or your brother know, or even your partner know, the men in your life that matter the most to you, because we want to be able to facilitate oxytocin for everybody. It's actually what makes mammals mammals. Yes, even your pets have oxytocin. So go and hug your dog or cat today. Now, what is oxytocin exactly? I want to break that down for you. Now, oxytocin is produced in the hypothalamus, also known as the control center. I like to call it NASA for all of the endocrine system inside of the brain. It also is thought to be influenced by the activation of the amygdala, which is the region of the brain associated with fear and memories. I like to call the amygdala the stranger danger part of the brain. It's always kind of sensing what's happening in the environment to keep us safe. Now, once the hypothalamus sends a signal for oxytocin to be produced, it's either released into the bloodstream or other parts of the brain and the spinal cord. It binds to oxytocin receptors on our cells, influencing how we feel and behave towards others. Now, oxytocin influences the autonomic nervous system as well, and the immune system. And the way that it does is when we have an effect on the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, also known as the HPA axis, we actually dictate the release of many hormones through oxytocin. Now, this hormone has broad implications for our general health, including the facilitation of the adaptation of stressors, development, growth, and healing, also reproduction, and social behaviors. It also seems to have an anti-inflammatory effect and an antioxidant effect that allows our body to defend against trauma, illness, and stress-induced damage. Additionally, it keeps our blood pressure levels at normal range and also balances cortisol levels, the primary stress hormone. I always think of oxytocin being the check and balance for cortisol because it is designed to help us mitigate when we're dealing with stress. Oxytocin is basically like the motherboard of all emotions, and really all the good ones. Now, it's responsible for many aspects of social bonding and sexual pleasure. Oxytocin also has similarities to endorphins, opiate chemicals, because we produce more in order to soothe ourselves in response to sources of pain and stress. So what I want to do is I want to look at the emotional effects of oxytocin with you. It's basically the opposite of our fight or fight response. Higher levels of oxytocin will help us feel calmer, and have better capacity and resilience to address stress. So we really want to make sure that we are pumping this at peak capacity. Now, new research suggests that oxytocin and increased oxytocin can potentially also increase feelings of generosity, forgiveness, trustworthiness, joy, and security. It seems to help increase fidelity and monogamy in relationships. if that's something you're interested in, by keeping us honest and facilitating compassion and empathy towards other. Plus, it increases feelings of protectiveness and, as I said earlier, deep connection. It's why we have those deep connected relationships. This hormone plays a major role in this. So it's not just a love hormone, it is doing a lot of other jobs too. So I want to highlight the 5 big benefits of the powerhouse hormone oxytocin with you today. Number 1, helps with social connectedness and building intimate relationships. So studies show that oxytocin enforces pro-social behaviors, attachment, bonding, even fidelity by rewarding those who maintain good relationships with positive, calm feelings of well-being. Most forms of social contact seem to result in bursts of oxytocin, even if there is anticipated contact, such as planning for a date, party, or a get-together. The hormone also works as a positive feedback loop, so it makes us want to socialize more and connect more. Number 2, it has anti-aging and anti-obesity effects on the body. So one study showed that the higher our oxytocin levels are, it links to the protection against accelerated aging and the regeneration of aged tissue stem cells, including muscle cells. Additionally, it reduces muscle and joint pain due to pain, dulling, and anti-inflammatory properties. And it helps when it's in higher circulation in the body. It has a positive association with lean body mass and bone mineral density. And that's why I think oxytocin is so important to have, especially as we navigate perimenopause and beyond. Number 3, it boosts our ability to deal with stress, so we have more stress resilience. It's probably one of the biggest superpowers we have when it comes to oxytocin is that we tend to befriend and connect when we're going through it or when a friend of ours is going through it. And then number 4, it supports breastfeeding and raising children. I can fully speak to that. Research links the hormone to the mother's ability to care for her infant in multiple ways, one of which is through breastfeeding. It's like that direct connection. When a baby nurses from his or her mom, nerves in that nipple send signals to the pituitary gland to produce oxytocin, which causes the tiny muscles around the nipple to squeeze and release milk. Experts also believe that oxytocin helps new mothers and fathers feel calm even during difficult life transitions, one of which is having and caring for a brand newborn baby, right? I mean, you have your first newborn baby and it turns life on its head in a lot of incredible ways and a lot of really unexpected ways. And so oxytocin is a hormone that plays such a pivotal role here so that you have that strong, deep, loving, connected bond out the gate. So even when the going gets tough and you haven't had, months and months of sleep, you are still so bonded to that new little one in your life. And then number 5, instrumental to induce labor in pregnant women. Oxytocin also strengthens labor contractions during childbirth, along with helping to control bleeding after childbirth. I mean, it is a superpower hormone when it comes to actually giving birth. It facilitates the production of prostaglandins, which are chemicals that move labor along by increasing contractions. Now, some of the best ways to raise your levels naturally include, because I bet you're wondering, how do I get more of this? First and foremost, probably the easiest way to do it is physical contact. So hugs, massages, being intimate, again, hugging family, friends, pets. This will boost oxytocin levels. Making eye contact, laughing, like good, yummy, that kind of laugh that you just lose yourself into, that will 100% boost oxytocin levels. Giving and receiving gifts, altruistic behaviors such as cooking for others and sharing meals together, petting a dog, cat, or other pet, doing loving kindness meditations or visualizations, telling someone you love him or her, listening to calming music, walking or exercising with someone, and just spending time with somebody. Find out what your love language is or what your partner's love language is and really focus on that to boost that oxytocin. Now, I'd love for you to think about in all the different types of ways to raise your levels of oxytocin naturally, which one feels the most aligned with you? Is it more hugs, making eye contact, laughing, giving gifts or receiving gifts, telling someone that you love them, or maybe doing a meditation or visualization that focuses on love and kindness? Think about which one really feels resonated with you and start to implement maybe just an extra hug a day or 2 extra hugs a day so that you create more of that feel-good hormone. Now, if you love these tips, be sure to subscribe to the show for more easy ways to heal your hormones and upgrade your health. Until the next episode, have an amazing day.